Stephanie, I told you I wasn't gonna, you don't have to talk, but I want to ask you a question. I can't hear you though. You can
Sorry, go
unmute.
ahead.
Oh, this is a perfect time for you just to say you'd like Ryan to go over a particular area of the system.
Oh my gosh,
It like would be the billing section. Would that be the most important right now?
that'd be terrific.
So Ryan, if you could go give an overview of how the billing system works.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank
And
Thanks.
Stephanie, before I start on this, as you might realize, I mean, what I'm going to do is kind of give you like a drink from a fire hydrant. So I understand that, you know, there's definitely a lot more to it. And we, you know, we will definitely help you, you know, Richard, David, or myself will help you in every step of the way. So go into the membership billing and just a few things to just kind of give you again that drink from the fire hydrant without taking, you know, a whole lot of time, which it could take. But a few things. Let me start over here. So the view edit transactions, this will allow you to actually, oh, sorry. This will allow you to view or edit a transaction for a specific business. And so you would put in, you know, the business name or, you know, the last name of the person. You can do that like Your Guy Friday, if I can spell correctly. When you click search, it's going to just bring like the billing information for that one business up, that one individual business. Going back here, you can actually view all transactions. That's going to show you every transaction for all members, or view just one member's transactions. Just quickly going through the left, and I'll go through that.
That's also where you apply, like if they send in money, you pull them up and apply the payment.
Yep, yep. Excuse me, sorry about that. Then the create renewal invoice records by date. These two buttons here, the reason we put them here, and you'll find in this billing area that sometimes you'll find there's like 2 or 3 ways to get to the exact same place. We did that intentionally because of to make it ease of use. So the create renewal invoice records by date, this would be how you want to do your renewals. So if you're doing your renewals on a monthly basis, you're going to click on that button, and what you'll do is, you know, let's say right now in August, let's say you were wanting to renew for September. So you'd go ahead and put in for the beginning date, you know, September 1st, and then you could put in your end date, September 30th, for all plans, for example. And on this in the training system, I don't know that any records will come up, but you'll go ahead and click submit. In this case, there are no records in this training system that come up. But if yours do have records, it's going to show how many. And then you've got this button that is still showing, and it will show on yours, that says create renewal invoices. So then you'll click that button to actually create the renewal invoices, and that will create them in your system. It doesn't send them out to them, just so you know, it just creates them. And I'll show you the 2 different ways that you'll be able to send those out in just a moment. So then there's also the create a single invoice record. This actually can be very helpful. When you click on this, what it does is it's going to show all of your members alphabetically by member, and it's going to show their current expiration date, their member type, their join date. But let's say, for example, you have a member who they're not expired and they're not set to expire yet. You know, I'll just take myself as an example here, Your Guy Friday. Let's say right now I'm paid up through September of 2021. But let's say I want to go ahead and pay for the following year in advance. I'd like to, you know, or I'm not, you know, quite up for my renewal yet, but I want to go ahead and pay in advance. What you can do is you can go in and find that individual record, and you can actually click on the renew button next to that individual record, and that is going to then, now in this case, because, and this is actually, I'm glad this came up. Right now it's giving an error because in our settings here on this Chamber Nation training system, and we can change this, you can limit how many days in advance that a renewal a renewal record can be entered, and we can change that. So what I have to do, which I won't take the time to do right now, but I go into the configuration settings and change this to be more than a year ahead of time, and then I could click it. But if we're not more than a year ahead of time, so let me do it on one of these others that's not. Here you go. Well, David's renewed. All of these are like renewed all the way through 2021. So, so this isn't a great example, but you would click that renew, and that would take you in to be able to renew a single person. Let me jump over here to the billing menu before I jump down here. On the right here, billing menu. The first are all kinds of reports that you're going to be able to go through. And again, I won't walk through every report. I encourage you to explore, go through these. One of the more valuable. What's that?
The monthly board member.
I was just getting to that. You read my mind. One of the most valuable, I mean, they're all valuable, but one that is just incredible is the monthly board member report right here. And so when you click on that, you're going to be able to choose which month. You can exclude members if you want. You can exclude cross-reference members, but and you can change the month and everything. So I'm just going to go back a little bit. May. And then when you click show report, and again, in the training, it's not going to necessarily have everything, but it's going to show you, the beginning date and end date. So I chose May. The beginning member count for the month. You'll see new members, dropped members, the ending count for the month, retention rate for the month, and then, of course, all the dues values. And then it also does that for year to date. So year to date, 14, 2 new members, 0 dropped, same thing. You'll have your aging report, which will show all of the information. And then if you have in that month dropped members, it's going to show the name, phone number, category, and the reason they dropped, as well as same with new members. It's going to show that. And this report can also be downloaded as a CSV. And so you can just click on that to download it as a CSV file. So this is a really valuable report in all of them. And so you can go through and you can see a lot of different type of reports. You can do an invoice report, by date, by item detail, payment reports, all of these reports. So that's one. Then enter invoice records and payments. So this is, again, where you're going to see some of the similar links. You can enter a single invoice record, create renewal invoice records by date. This is the exact same thing as this one. Again, it's just in 2 different locations for ease of use. This is where you can enter your non-dues invoices, manage your non-dues items. You can schedule recurring non-dues invoices. Again, you can also enter a payment from here, or you can go directly into that members and it'll have where you can enter a payment directly for them. Sorry. Then we have the member lists. And a lot of people used to ask me a lot, like, what's the difference between reports and member lists? One of the primary things is the reports oftentimes are more customizable, even if it's just simply by date. And the lists are just that. They give you a list. They're still very valuable, but this will give you, for example, if you wanted to see your dues by renewal month. And so if we click on dues by renewal month, this is going to go month by month and show you what members, and their dues and their plan and how much you can expect each month. So this will give you the detail of every single member by month, what their dues are. Now, if you want that
report you were just showing is a report that I've heard chambers using with their ambassadors, and they literally assign a month to an ambassador and say, can you touch bases with these members, 60 days before their due date, just to make sure everything's good and we're likely to get a renewal.
Yeah, that's an excellent way of using it. And on your end, if you are just wanting to look like you just want the summary of the financials, then there's the dues by renewal month summary. So this just gives the financial totals and tells you how many members, but it doesn't list the full detail of all the members' names listed there.
So
So
Stephanie, these kind of reports might be really helpful for your meeting in September.
Yeah, so we have our retreat and I'm going through a cleanup effort right now, archiving folks that should have been off there some time ago. And once we get through that process, then when we look at the duals by renewal month or the summary, we can basically know going into a new year what to anticipate with what's on the books right now, correct?
yes,
Yes.
yeah. And that also under the list too, you have, member dues forecast. So this would again kind of give very similar information. And this just will show kind of a forecast looking ahead, like what you can anticipate or expect. So then I want to jump real quickly. There is, of course, mass drop if you wanted to do a massive drop. Typically, you're dropping by individual members, not doing a mass drop. And if you need help on that, you definitely would want to contact Chamber Nation if you need help. Data export. This is if you have your chamber synchronized with QuickBooks. That's what this is involving. If not, then you don't need to worry about that. Again, your merchant account services. This would be again through Chamber Nation. This is where they would set up, and you'd be able to go in and view, or if you needed to edit your merchant account services. And then just as an admin, change log reporting. This is going to show you. This is just going to be a report to show you whatever changes have been made to like invoice and records, and if there's different admins at your chamber, it's going to show who made that change so that you can track if there was a discrepancy or that you needed to find out who entered that payment because they're saying that it was entered incorrectly or anything, if you need to follow with that. Then over here, the batch printing and emails. So once you've created all your renewal records by date, this is where you're going to go next. And that is, you're going to do your batch printing or emails. It's what you're going to prefer, because on these first things, they do the same function other than one sets it up for you to print as PDFs so that you can print and snail mail them. And the other sets it up to actually email your members. And so let me just show you on the batch printing. You would go ahead and click on Renewal Notices, it says PDF Invoices. Then it's going to ask you, select the range of invoices you'd like to print. Now, in this case, we have, again, the ones that we have.
Could it be okay? Could you actually, Stephanie, would it be okay if you went into your system and did it just to see what would be coming out?
Sorry, yes.
Okay.
If you'd like to do that, then they could see it.
Yeah, let me do that. Yeah.
She's Carmichael Chamber.
Okay, let me do that. Okay. All right, so here in your system, so if we went in and I won't create renewal, and I don't want to do the create renewal invoices. So we'll just go in and see. So if we went in here and we click renewal notices, and let's just look and see if any were created for September. And so we'll go ahead and choose the beginning month, September. Oh, yeah. And then ending September 30th. You can exclude invoices marked as paid, that's the default, because there's no need to to print or email or send invoices that have already been paid. If you're doing the email only ones, sometimes, if you're wanting to send only to those that don't have an email, that's why you might want to exclude members with email addresses, because then you could print only the ones that don't have an email and then send via email the ones that do. And And then, of course, there's also the exclude members with monthly plans is an option, or you can include them. So we'll just keep it all invoices here, keep it like that, and click submit. And let's see, no invoice records for that date. So let me go back. Let's just try here in August. Let me just go ahead and do that for August. Okay, perfect. So in August, it's saying there are 37 that were created for renewal records. So now what you're going to be able to do is you can just click here for the PDF output. When I do that, this is just going to generate the PDF for all of those 37 that it had. And you're going to be able to then go through, or you're going to be able to just now print this, and it's going to print out looking like this, you know, with all of their information. And it's going to show like when the membership would be, you know, the membership dues, the payment stub and everything, as well as the login and pay online information here. So that's how this would work. Let me go back here. Oops. So back here, just to explain. So the batch renewal email notifications is going to be exactly the same type of thing. You've got your dates list, you know, you can limit it by member plans if you want. And when we click submit on that, it again is going to show that there will be 37 emails. Now, this would be an additional message if you want to customize, you know, an additional message to them. But otherwise, it's going to show, you know, down here, all of the information. And it's even showing you a PDF invoice document will be attached to the email. And then at the very bottom, you would go ahead and click on this button, which of course I won't do, but you would click send renewal notifications if you wanted to email it to all of these individuals. And that will get that sent out to all those individuals.
And Stephanie, if you apply payments and you do that every month, your system's going to run like a top.
So through this as well, down on this bottom part, just doing a little bit more. Excuse me. You can also, with the renewals, you can also print mailing labels. So like if you're using this, it's going to print just those mailing labels for only that group of people that come up with the renewal notices. So you're not having to like print out a entire, you know, 20 pages of labels and then go through and try and find them and pull them out.
Hey Ryan, what is the label number for those mailing labels? Is it an Avery number for those?
Can you, maybe if you click on that, it'll tell you.
Let me look and see. I'm trying to remember. Hold on. Let me go past this and see if it says. Oops.
Because I thought that was a great asset, but I could never find out which label number it was. So
Hey, David, are you on the call? David?
I don't
Yes.
know.
Hey, can you make note of this and ask
Yes.
engineering to put the instructions on the label to use?
Yes, absolutely.
thank you,
Okay.
David.
Thank you.
Okay. So we have that, and again, you can also, Stephanie, you can print out past due notices. So you can put in the information and print out past due notices. And again, the past due mailing labels, which will allow you to just pinpoint just those individuals, so you're not having to print more. You can also print out statements, not just, you know, the invoice information, but a statement. And you've got all of that. You also have a quick link right here to your invoice billing and billing verbiage configuration. And again, this is made just to make it a little easier to find that, because that would also take you to the same place if you were to go from your main menu into your configuration, and then you would be able to go into up here where you've got member database billing options. You've got your invoice billing verbiage right here. And so that's the same, it's the link to the same place. It just makes it quicker and easier. And so that verbiage allows you to, again, just change what exactly is the text or whatever, like for new member invoice email subject, new member invoice, but you could change that if you wanted to say something different. And as you go down, you're going to be able to change like the text included on a PDF invoice for new members, for renewing members. I mean, you can customize this as fully as you want. The nice thing is, if you're like, oh, I haven't gone in and done any of that, no worries, because the system is set up with default ones. It's only if you're like, I'd like to customize that and change that to fit me exactly. So it's not like you need to worry or panic and be like, I haven't set any of that up. I have to go in and do all of that before I send anything. No.
Okay, and then quickly, can you go back to the to create like a single invoice? So if someone says, we never did get an invoice, can you email it over? You do it from that, create a single?
Yes. That's what you do. Now, if an invoice has already been created for them, so let me just let me go in. So if an invoice has already been created for them, let's say, for example, let's just go with the Alpha 1 ambulance rather than scrolling. An invoice has been created for them. It's not marked as paid yet. If you just, because it's been created, you want to just go ahead and print it out to resend to them, you're going to be able to come over here and just click on the INV or go into the record, and that is going to bring up theirs where you can create the PDF output just for their invoice. And so this will then print just their invoice for that one. So if they're like, oh, you're telling them, you were renewed in June, and the invoice went out to you, and they're like, well, I never got it, or I lost it, or can I get another copy? This is where you would go to actually print it. The other one would be really more if you are, again, if they said, well, we paid, let's say right here, Labu Bakery has paid for their 2020 to 2021, but let's say they want to pay now for 2021 to 2022. That's when you're going to use the individual. That's where you're going to do the create single invoice record, and you just find I think it was Labu Bakery. Let's see. There we go. Labu Bakery. So they're already renewed through 2021. But if you wanted, and I'm not going to click this because it will actually create a renewal invoice for them if I do right now. But if they wanted to go ahead and have an invoice for 2021 to 2022 that they could pay right now, you could click that and it's going to create that. And then you're going to be able to go into their record to print it. I do want to show you again real quick. Let me go back here. Let me do Labu. So I can also directly go into Labu Bakery, and in Labu Bakery, next to any of the invoices, even if it's paid, like if I needed to print one, again, I have this INV directly on theirs, where on any of the invoices, I can click the INV to bring it up and have a PDF output to be able to print that and send that. And again, like Richard was saying earlier, and I mentioned, inside their individual account, if they send a payment, this is where you could go in and quickly go right into their account and click enter payment, and then that will allow you to enter all the information for their payment that they've submitted.
Terrific.
Does that help?
It helps a lot, yes.
Great.
Ryan, I have a question. When I go to drop members, sometimes it'll tell me that I can't drop them because there's an invoice created. But
Yes.
I'll go into that individual member and delete or void the invoice, and it still won't let me. Am I doing something wrong?
No, that's for auditing.
Well, it won't let you delete the member, but you're saying it won't even let you drop the member?
If I'm remembering correctly, it's been a minute.
You can always drop them, but you just can't delete them for for like auditing purposes. If there was ever an accounting record of any kind, even if it was voided, if there is ever an accounting record associated with a member, it can't be deleted.
Okay, maybe I
Right.
was trying to delete them.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So what
it's-
happens if they're in there duplicate, like more than once? Is there any way I would send a ticket and have you guys delete it on your end?
No, you just drop it.
Yeah, if they have any sort of financial record, even if it accidentally was a duplicate, you want to drop them because you can't delete them, and that's just for a number of security reasons as well as legal reasons.
Okay,